Welcome to this first in the series of how-to videos. Hopefully they'll be helpful to you. I thought I would start by looking at a question which involves both motion graphs, in this case a distance time graph, and work and energy. And we can pick up a few points on the way perhaps, other than simply the theory and the application of the theory to the question. This video I'd like to dedicate to my ex-student AJ. So let's move on to answering the question. So a bus is taking some children to school. The bus has to stop a few times. The figure below shows the distance time graph for part of the journey. So I would always advocate that you're careful to check what kind of graph you've got before you begin. And you have a distance time graph in this case. So make sure that that is clear when you start, and notice your graph is in meters and your time is in seconds. So these are things that you really need to be picking up on at the very start. Let's read the rest of the question. How far has the bus traveled in the first 20 seconds? Describe the motion of the bus between 20 and 30 seconds. Describe the motion of the bus between 30 and 60 seconds, ticking the box. What's the speed of the bus at 45 seconds, showing you're working? Later on, the bus is moving and has 500,000 joules of kinetic energy. The brakes are applied. How much work is needed to stop the bus? The bus stops in 25 meters. Calculate the force needed to stop the bus, and what happens to the KE of the bus as it is braking. So there's our question. How far has the bus traveled in the first 20 seconds? Well, helpfully it's got dotted lines on here to show us 20 seconds. But if we come across to 20 seconds, come up to the graph, and then read across to the axis, we have 100 meters. So there's the answer to that. Describe the motion of the bus between 20 and 30 seconds. There's 20, there's 30. And you can see between 20 and 30 seconds, the graph is horizontal. Now, with the distance time graph, that means the distance isn't changing. But if we're not sure about that, we can look. At 20 meters, the distance is 100 meters. And notice how the first question talked about what was happening at 20. The second question takes you from 20 to 30. So it kind of relates back to part one. So at 20 seconds, the distance is 100 meters. At 30 seconds, the distance is 100 meters. That is to say, the distance from the starting point hasn't changed. So how could you describe the motion of something where over time its distance hasn't changed? Well, I would say that's a thing that's stopped or not moving. If you want to sound clever, you could say stationary. But the heart of it is the thing's not moving. Describe the motion of the bus between 30 and 60 seconds. Between 30 and 60 seconds, well, we can see that the distance is increasing between 30 and 60 seconds. At 40 seconds, it's here. And that's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 small squares. So each of these squares then is 5 meters because 10 of them is 50. So there's 115 meters, 1, 2, 3. That's 115. And then at 50 seconds, that's easy, that's 150. And at 60 seconds is 250. So you can see going from 30 to 40, you've added 15 meters to the distance. Between 40 and 50, you've added 35 meters to the distance. And between 50 and 60, you've added 100 meters to the distance. Now, these calculations, you wouldn't be expected to do these, but I'm doing this by way of illustration. So if we look at our question, there's only one mark for this, but you could be asked this question without the tick box. It could just say, describe the motion of the bus between 30 and 60 seconds, and it would be a 2-mark question. So if we look at it from the point of view of a 2-mark question, describe the motion. Well, for 1 mark, it is moving because the distance is increasing with time. But that would be true of any line that you could draw between 30 seconds and 60 seconds. So there's a bit more to it than just it is moving. What you could say is that it is speeding up, because in this 10-second interval, it moved 15 meters. In this 10-second interval, it moved 35 meters. And in the next one, it moved 100. So we could look at that graph, see that it is curving upwards, the gradient is increasing, and we know the gradient of a distance time graph is the speed. So given that the gradient of this graph is increasing, the speed is increasing, so we could say that it is speeding up, getting faster, accelerating. So there's our mark for this. But if there wasn't a tick box, then there would be 2 marks for explaining or describing the motion of the bus. One would be, it is moving. Another would be, it's accelerating. It's getting faster. And for those of you doing physics at a higher paper, the acceleration can be positive or negative. In this case, it is a positive acceleration. It is increasing. We could have had a negative acceleration where it is slowing down. So there's our next part answered. Then what is the speed of the bus at 45 seconds? 45 seconds, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. Just check I've got that right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The old eyes are not great. So there we go. There's our 45 seconds. What is the speed? Well, what we have to do here, and I'm not going to be able to do this terribly well, freehand, what you need to do to get the speed at 45 seconds, gone a bit too far, what you will do is to draw a tangent to the curve at that point. So you would take a ruler, which I don't have here. I can't do it very well on my tablet. Take a ruler and you draw a tangent to the curve. Your tangent should just touch here, and then you work out the gradient of that tangent. So the vertical bit there, I've got to 3 squares short of 200. So that point, each of those being 5 meters. So that's 15 short of 200. That is 185. And that end is 1 short of 100. So that's 95. So the vertical change here is 90. That length is 90. And this, well, this runs from 33 at this end. This is 33 to 60. So this distance then is 27. So we've got 90 vertically, 27 horizontally. So what we're doing here then is 90 divided by 27. Get ourselves a calculator. 90 divided by 27 gives us 3.3. Now, the answer is a bit rough because I haven't used a ruler, because it's just not very easy for me to do with my tablet. But the thing to do here is to put your ruler on the page so that the line you draw just touches at 45 seconds. Draw the longest tangent you can. So I would have drawn my tangent maybe down to here if I could have done it in a straight line. Draw the longest tangent you can and work out the gradient, which is the vertical change divided by the horizontal change, and that will be your speed. So that's that bit. Then it says, so that's our working on the graph done basically. We're now looking at energy. We have the bus with 500,000 joules of energy. The brakes are applied, the bus stops. How much work is needed? Well, work is the change in energy, whether it's a change in kinetic or change in potential. So because it has lost 500,000 joules, 500,000 joules of work has been done. So there's your key fact. The bus stopped in a distance of 25 meters. Calculate the force. This should say average force, but we'll go with force anyway. Now, you need to know that work, not only is it changing energy, it is also force times distance. Now, I know that. I know that's what I need because I've got the work done. I've got the distance. I want the force. So I need an equation that connects the force, the distance, and the work. And that is the equation. So rearranging that then to make force the subject, I've got force is work divided by distance, which is 500,000 divided by 25. Well, 25 goes into 50 twice, so that's 20,000 newtons. And the final part of the question, what happens to that kinetic energy? It is converted to heat, or better, thermal energy. So there's one mark. And then it spreads out or dissipates into the air or the atmosphere. So there you have it. That is how to answer this particular question on motion graphs and work, energy, and power.